Welcome back to your daily news, but without the libtard propaganda. I'm your host, Aardvarks. Starting out in Texas, their based governor is taking action against the Democrats. Texas governor to veto state legislature funding after Democrats walked out. Republicans were trying to secure future elections by making it harder for non-Americans, non-citizens to vote in their elections, and the Democrats walked out, and because there wasn't enough people in the assembly at the time, they couldn't get it passed. So the governor took action by taking away the legislative branch's pay. And so now them and all their assistants are going to work without pay until they get in there and do their job. Shout out to him. New York City art gallery commemorating Tulsa Massacre vandalized with white paint. And now what I know is about 300 black people were killed in Black Wall Street, the Tulsa riots, 100 years ago. What I also know in America is that black people kill over 500 whites every single year in this country. Every single year in this country, white people experience more than a Tulsa riot. And these people want to be remembered. They nonstop want to bring up the Tulsa riots. And every single year, we experience something worse than the Tulsa riots. Maybe that should be on the mainstream news. Too bad it never will be. Miami shooting. Devastated father of victim interrupts press conference to yell, "You killed my kid." And what I noticed from the security footage, these are clearly Trump supporters. And the father that had his young kid killed, also a Trump supporter. And so there is a problem in this country, and we're not talking about it. I don't think we'll ever talk about it, and so I don't think we'll ever solve it. We'll just continue to blame white people for things non-whites do. Partner of British billionaire, fuck you CNN, partner of British billionaire son charged in a shooting death of a Belize officer. This really weirded article. They're like trying to make all these connections where this person is the son of a girl who's dating this billionaire. And so they're dragging this dude's name through the mud, even though he wasn't there. It's not his kid and he had nothing to do with it. But you got to bring up a rich white guy so we can blame it on white privilege somehow. Good job, CNN. Peru says his true death toll for COVID is almost triple its official amount. The new revised number is 180,764, and Peru has about 32 million people. So less than a tenth of our population, but almost a third of the same COVID deaths. America's doing relatively good. Something else that won't be put in the mainstream news, putting these death tolls into their correct context. Closing out, bodies at Indigenous schools, not an isolated incident. Over 200 Indigenous kids' bodies were found under this school. That's from like 100 years ago. It started almost 150 years ago, so this is super old. Anyone involved in this is no longer alive, but we gotta bring it up and talk about how horrible it was that 150 years ago, white people stole Indigenous kids from the Indians. I don't really care. If you look into the history of the natives and how they treated each other and how they owned slaves and how they scalped and all the things that they actually did, I just don't give a flying fuck. And that's been your daily news, but without the libtard propaganda. I'm your host, Aardvarks.